niggas linking up. Trail niggas linking up. Link up, my nigga, let's link up.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. We got a very special episode of the Link Up. Today we're gonna get into do a deep dive of that Drake versus Kendrick beef. Who really won? I know you want to know. We want to know. So we're gonna get into it. Now hold on. I know what y'all thinking. Y'all looking at the screen. Y'all see a light-skinned person and y'all see a white person. But just trust me. Just stay with us for a second. Shout out to Ocho. We valid, and we're gonna prove it to you on this episode of the Link Up. And to start off, I want to introduce my girl. Known her since the sandboxes. A legend down here. But now in New York, killing it. You might catch her on Met Gala. She big into fashion up there. Ladies and gentlemen, AmbarJas.
Hey, thank you for having me. It's really exciting.
Of course.
Can't wait to see what you're about. We love hearing about your music takes.
Most definitely. And I definitely had to bring you out for this beef. We had many a debates, many a car rides listening to music, trying to figure out who to go. Like your boy Drake say. And I'ma just disclose this right now. Look, it ain't no secret. I'm a Drake and J. Cole fan. You're a Aubrey's angel, a Mrs. Graham, hopefully, in the future. So, we're a little biased, but Kendrick came with something undeniable. So, we're gonna get into that. Right now the beef is ended. There's been a lot going on. Top Dog came out a couple of days ago basically saying the beef was over. Then I think yesterday Drake posted, good summer vibes. It seems like he's moved on. And there was a shooting at his house in Toronto, so it's getting kind of crazy out here. We wasn't expecting it to get to these levels, But so I understand. And you also had Universal Music Group basically saying they don't want them to beef, which I don't blame them. A man calling another man a pedophile, this man making you guys all that money. It's like, I understand why they want the beef to end. It wasn't looking good.
That's what kind of makes this beef really weird, is that we're also on the pinnacle of AI, so we don't know was the cease and desist really from Drake. Drake was Kendrick convinced Tupac's estate to tell him to take down Taylor Made. So it's just kind of what's real, what's not, how much power do the artists really have, and all that. And executives don't really kind of speak for everybody. So I feel that was a really interesting take, because I wonder if that's what's going on behind Chris Brown and Quavo, because that was pretty weird.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole nother beef. I mean, that boy Chris Brown, I ain't gonna lie, I already knew he was a rapper for real. People be like, Chris Brown, he can sing. That man had bars.
Yeah, he could do it.
He been like that.
But that was just, I don't know, the AI aspect of everything, just you always questioning what somebody's saying, if it's really them. I thought that was really set this beef apart from even beefs earlier this year, with Nicki and Megan.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Another thing that added a layer to this is everybody that was involved. It wasn't just, Drake versus Kendrick. It was everybody looped in. Shout out to my boy J. Cole, dropped the diss, AmbarJas, bounced out, living in peace and serenity. You got Kanye, out here saying, J. Cole, get it dry out here. You got Future and Metro Grooming, Metro Boomin.
Yeah,
they
that was kind of crazy. Everyone was just kind of you know what? I don't like that guy either.
poor Metro.
But no, they really came hard, especially No Diddy, but especially elimination of Drake. That was bold of him to say, considering his Like That remix was definitely not hard enough to even justify that phrase.
Yeah. You don't think the remix was like that?
that was pretty bad. He just wanted to be included.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be Ye if he wasn't trying to be included.
And
But
discuss him in any of it. He's like, I already, you guys know how I feel about Kanye.
all right, we're gonna get into it. You know, there was a lot of, you know, shots in back and forth through this beef, a lot of songs dropped, you know, definitely something that's gonna go down in the history of, you know, just hip hop and culture. You know, again, we verified. Just gotta make that known. We a part of the culture, you know. But yeah, we got 5 rounds, and then we're gonna get to see who really won. So this first round, um, the beef started off. It really started off when Drake and J. Cole started teaming up and they dropped First Person Shooter, you know, on the album For All the Dogs. You know, that ended up, you know, soliciting a response from Kendrick. So round one, we're gonna do First Person Shooter versus Like That. So starting with First Person Shooter, you know, to give some quotes, J. Cole says, "Love when they argue who's the hardest MC. Is it K Dot, is it Aubrey, or me? We the big three like we started the league, but right now I feel like Muhammad Ali." And then Drake later on in the song, "Who the GOAT? Who you bitch really rooting for? Like a kid that act bad from January to November, nigga, it's just you and Cole." And then he also says later on in the song, "I'm one away from Michael, nigga, beat it, nigga, beat it." So here in this song, I can see how, you know, Kendrick kind of felt disrespected because J. Cole basically saying, you know, it's a big three, but Drake goes behind him and undermines that and it's like, it's just me and Cole. So like, you know, he like Michael Jackson in a sense, like he the king of rap in a sense. And then on the Kendrick side, for Like That, he responded saying, "Yeah, get up with me. Sneak dissing, first person shooter. I hope they came with 3 switches." And then he says, think I won't drop a location. I still got the big three. Nigga, it's just big me. Nigga bum. I'm really like that. And your best work is a light pack. Nigga Prince outlived Mike Jack. For all you dogs getting buried, that's a K with all these nines. He gonna see Pet Cemetery. So that's the response and the rebuttal from Kendrick. Now, putting these 2 songs together, who do you think really came out on top in this round? First Person Shooter with by Drake featuring J. Cole, or Like That by Future and Metro Boomin featuring Kendrick Lamar?
It's just so funny because it was just like such like a beef coming from a competitive spirit of like I'm the best, no, I'm the best. To see like what it came out to, like the digging up dirt and like the name calling. But I mean, Drake didn't even have the best verse on his own song.
Damn.
Yeah,
Really?
I think that song went #1 after that song with Yeet from that same album. I don't know. I mean, Like That was just different. I mean, that whole album kind of trumped For All the Dogs, and so for that to be the best song on the better album, in my opinion, and plus, you know, Kendrick like really made that song.
I agree.
But yeah, but people are also like digging a little deeper and being like, J. Cole said, "We the big three," but then he also goes, like, the Spider Man meme is me looking at Drake as like, who's the best? And then people also kind of like took it to be kind of a diss because he said everybody's steppers and everyone's bricks, and I'm about to clean up my plate. So
Mm-hmm.
people kind of said that like, oh, that could be taken as a diss, which especially if you're like Kendrick and you're like, oh, I got bars for that, I'm say something. But I think that was definitely kind of like control to just kind of like shake things up. I don't really think he took it personal because he was supposed to be on the song. Well, he says he was supposed to be on the song, but I think he just wanted to get the boys to rap a little bit more.
I feel you. So I'm guessing your answer is Kendrick then in this round 1.
Like That was the best song out of those two, absolutely.
I agree. I mean, for me, I'm just saying like neither song was like my favorite on like the respective albums, but Like That definitely standed out more. Like, but it's tough because I can see it on the other side. Like, the reason Like That had so much hype around it because it's like they called out Drake and he called out J. Cole, you know, to a degree. But so it's like I can see from the other side where you're kind of like, you know, because he mentioned Drake, that's why the song was popular. But I think just like the whole song, like First Person Shooter, like it's a good song, but like That is like that song. Like you can play that in the club, you can play that in the gym, you know, nigga, bomb. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, so
and like when people are like it's a big three, I don't know. I feel like people kind of disrespect Future because he is around the same era, but he just didn't come up in the same way. Like I feel J. Cole being so adjacent to Drake in like 2013 really
hmm
kind of like cement himself as a big three next to them. Future kind of came a couple years later, but he was still making music at that time. He just wasn't around them. But I feel like if we look at like 2010s, like everyone's gonna say Future is like on the Mount Rushmore at that time.
I was gonna say,
Future and Drake and Metro have their issues. It's just kind of like big three. J. Cole, you definitely not doing better than Future when it comes to like impact and influence.
yeah, unfortunately, as a J. Cole fan, he kind of like, and I think he okay with it. I don't even think J. Cole care. I feel like in his mind, he the GOAT, and with his cult following, he the GOAT. Like, to me, like, out of the three, J. Cole is my favorite. But then when, like, if we talking about in totality, I think Future has put an imprint on the culture more. Like, so I feel like he definitely belongs in that conversation, and I definitely think he passes J. Cole in that conversation.
Yeah, it
Like,
kind of feels like a strategic thing too to be like, you're the big three on a song with Future.
hmm
I don't know. There's just more to it, but I feel like, yeah, I feel like that's something that I would like to read into a little bit because, and then Future goes on to include like that sample in the next album where he's like, I actually think it's a Fantastic Four, and Future,
yeah.
and I think that's
Shout
right.
out,
You're gonna
shout out to Brilliant Idiots.
I know.
All right, so moving on to round two. This is like the good round right here. So round two, of course, to respond to Like That, Drake drops push-ups. And boy, did he have some quotables in there. I don't even know if quotable is a word, but we gonna ride with it. Maroon 5 need a verse, you better make it witty. Then we need a verse for the Swifty. Talk say drop, you better drop and give him 50. Pip squeak pipe down, you ain't in no big three. SZA got you wiped down. Travis got you wiped down. Savage got you wiped down. Like your label boy, you Interscope right now. And to me, the really standout bar, even though it's not even about Kendrick, it's just the GOAT bar of that song. Metro, shut your whole ass up and make some drums. So that's what we got for push-ups. Now on the Kendrick side, we have Euphoria. And in Euphoria, Kendrick says, I hate the way that you walk. I hate the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress. I hate the way that you sneak this. If I catch a flight, it's going to be direct. We hate the bitches you fuck because they confuse themselves with real women. And notice I said we. It's not just me. I'm what the culture feeling. That one was tough. Cole and Aubrey, I'm a selfish guy. The crown is heavy. I pray they my real friends. If not, I'm YNW Melly. Crazy,
Yeah.
crazy work. And then, of course, you know, another standout bar from that song, we don't want to hear you say nigga no more. So that's round two. We got push ups versus Euphoria. Your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, when push-ups first came out, it was like a great response. Everyone was just kind of like, okay, like that. I feel like that could stand a little stronger with like that. But Euphoria is just one of probably my favorite song from the whole like beef. So for me, it's
Same.
Euphoria. But we can definitely dive in a little bit more there because it's also just like the way that they dropped. It's when push-ups dropped, it was like a leak. Oh, and there was like other like fake AI tracks going around. So because it wasn't official, there was just kind of like people didn't listen to it right away because they thought it was like another AI drop, which I feel like if we're talking like Art of War style like strategy, kind of like shot him in the foot because when Kendrick dropped and he uploaded that link on Twitter, that morning, like I just remember being like, oh shit, he's responded. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
Drake just didn't have that impact with his push-ups.
I definitely agree because like when it first dropped, like everybody was dropping it like unreleased. So like yeah, I definitely agree. It kind of killed the hype a bit, and then like it took him so long to officially like put it out on under his official like account. But for me, it's definitely Euphoria, man. Like out of all the songs in this beef, this is definitely like the best song. Like we gonna get to the other songs later, but like to me, this is my favorite song out of the whole beef. Like, and this was just like Kendrick, like he not even going full at him. Like he just like setting him up. Like he like I'm gonna give you this now, but I'm daring you to push me. You know, the sexy red line was crazy.
Oh yeah,
Like that was like one of my favorites.
he got jokes.
Um, nah, he definitely do, and that was the thing like that I like, cause like usually like with Kendrick, he more serious, but like to see that side, like bruh, like I'm not about to just rap, I'm about to flame you too, like, and then also like the stuff he said, like I'm what the culture feeling, like a lot of people do feel that way about Drake, like they be feeling like you know he has like, idea, like he pushes this like idea of like women that he likes, and like these are, and like he has an idea of women that he pushes, and I feel like a lot of people feel that, and then like I feel like what got Drake in this beef and this whole mess with Future and everybody else, Kanye is always like it's always rumored that Drake somebody, so it's like I just felt like
No,
from that standpoint, Kendrick called out a lot of things that I feel like people have been wanting to say, but nobody has like said it to Drake in this capacity.
yeah, I mean, and he also had some like deep dives, like the new hooking thing, and like him
Hmm.
match, or I think that's what it was. He has some deep dives. Like he's well researched when he says shit about Drake, and it's like it's almost like he has a file in his phone of just kind of like things I hate about Drake. But
Definitely.
but he was well researched, so to call it a friendly fade and then have all this like personal details about like his life and be like, you have identities, and
Yeah.
because a lot of people know Drake to be an actor, and like they know Drake is like a performer and it's like a persona, like it's not Drake.
Right.
So like Drake for real, we saw him in the wheelchair, like he's Jimmy.
Hmm.
Um, and so I feel like keeping up that like illusion and going up to like booby trap and giving stripper Chanel bags, like that's all really important to him, you know.
Yeah.
And he's already like a
And
secretive guy just because he's a Scorpio, and he like talks about being paranoid a lot in his mix. And if anyone can really like not to give away another great bar, but if anyone can strike a chord, it's fucking Kendrick, because he's without having to do too much. I don't have to drop every year. I don't have to drop every 6 months. I'm a Pulitzer Prize winner.
yeah, like for me, like, well, I only gave a few quotables, but like Kendrick just had so much things that you can point out in this song, like the Pusha T line, uh,
Better off.
so much. But yeah, but to play devil's advocate for a minute, I think what people could argue is like it really did take Kendrick a little minute to respond. But then I guess on the other side, you could say the same thing about Drake. But Drake was actually on tour. But like Kendrick, like his was able to be more calculated. But I think like going into this beef, this is what everybody expected. Like you know, everybody expected like literally how this beef started. Like as far as when the dissing started, this is how like Drake to make like the catchy something that you can play in the club, and then Kendrick to come out like more somber and lyrical and everything. So I feel like the beef started off, but in round two, we definitely giving it to Euphoria. Kendrick takes a 2-0 lead in this beef.
And not to say that push-ups wasn't good. I feel like we didn't talk about push-ups enough. But push-ups was really good, especially before Euphoria came along, for him to address everybody, because he addressed what Rick Ross, he addressed The Weeknd, Metro, and
Yeah.
I'm like, this bumps.
But
That like great to the song beforehand, not the song that came after. But plus Also look at the credits. He was not the only writer on that song, which always
Yeah.
is, which I know not it's music. Music is a collaborative thing, but like when you're going up against Kendrick, like that's just gonna come up, which it did. He said he'll take out everybody that writes with you.
The thing, like, I'm glad that you said like the whole thing about everybody he dissed, because I feel like throughout the entire beef that helped and harmed Drake. Like it wasn't until like the last two songs that he dropped that he really went like not even like fully the last two, but like really the last one where he fully gave like his full undivided attention to Kendrick and not everybody else. So I feel like because he was so focused on like the 20v1, like he was responding to everybody else, which that kind of saved him in a way because it gave him more to talk about. Because like he ain't really like put anything out on Kendrick, like, you know, nothing crazy, like in push ups. And then, like, but it also harmed him because it's like he didn't really go at Kendrick. Like, people might have won it. It wasn't really a 1v1. So,
Yeah, and like
but
it's really hard because there were a lot of like things going on around like the main Kendrick and Drake drops because like The Weeknd had his shots at him.
Ross.
Rocky, yeah, Rick Ross is dropping songs, which was like it was strange for Rick Ross to go against Drake just because when you think of Rick Ross, you think of a lot of great Drake verses.
Yeah. They
Like
had
what
the dopest collab.
Diced Pineapples, which is one of Rick Ross' best songs. Probably not the best career move to go against Drake, but
I mean,
there's just I mean we could talk about there's so many things coming out like behind the scenes for everything. Which like just kind of I don't know, it like just put Kendrick on like a higher pedestal, but it also made like his shit stand out more because I didn't listen to Champagne Problems.
I mean, I did. It was actually pretty solid. So, I mean, but it didn't like in the totality of the beef, it didn't stand out. Just like the like that remix, it
And I'm
didn't
sure it makes
stand out.
it really good to be like the center of everybody's like attention.
Yeah. All right. Round 3. Now, this one here was a barn burner. We got Tailor Made Freestyle versus 616 in LA. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic. I mean, well, it depends on what you like. If you like those songs, I like both songs, but as far as like the totality of what both artists release, I think these two are probably considered like the weaker songs in the beef, but which lines up perfect because they go against each other. So, Tailor Made Freestyle. Of course, we got Drake implementing AI, going at Kendrick as, you know, some West Coast legends that he looks up to and puts himself, you know, in the conversation with Tupac and Snoop. In Tupac's voice, he says, Kendrick, we need you, the West Coast savior, engraving your name in some hip hop history. This Canadian light skinned dot. We need a no debated West Coast victory, man. You know, trying to bait Kendrick, you know, saying he letting down like the people that came before him. And another thing, you know, in the song, Drake in his normal voice, he was like, but now we gotta wait a week because Taylor Swift is your new top, and if you about to drop, she gotta approve, you know. And obviously, you know, Drake is basically saying Kendrick is trying to tailor his career towards the more like, you know, doing features on like the pop side of things. And on the other side, Kendrick dropped 616 in LA. And one thing he said, are you finally ready to play Have You Ever? Let's see. Have you ever thought that OVO is working for me? Which this sets up like so many things, you know, that's to come in the beef. And then he goes on to say, fake bully, I hate bullies. You must be a terrible person. Everyone inside your team is whispering that you deserve it. Can't Tootsie slide up out of this one? It's just going to resurface. Every dog got to have this day, not living your purpose. So with that being said, Tailor Made Freestyle versus 616 in LA. What you thinking?
I mean, it's probably still 16 in LA, but like, shout out to Drake a little creative with the Tupac and the Snoop Dogg AI choice. But this one's a little bit more evenly matched just because, like you already said, like they're both like kind of were overshadowed by the drop before. And I don't think either is anybody's like favorite drop. 616 is not even allowed. I mean, not 616. Taylor Made's not even allowed to be played. They both definitely read like the 48 Laws of Power. Like they were both definitely like being strategic with this one. I feel like Kendrick was like, I can follow your like war style, but I can also get Taylor Swift's producer to produce this song.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just kind of like an extra entendre. Just it's just kind of like he's doing entendre with like chess moves.
Speaking of entendre, I love the quote at the end of the song from Drake, where he says, I want you to put a quintuple entendre on that. That made me laugh. But I'm actually with these two songs, I'm going to go with Taylor Made Freestyle just because, like, we got that goodie, When I first heard it, I was like, nah, this junk, this ain't it. But then when I heard it again, I was like, yeah, I'm for real. Like, when I first heard it, I was like, nah, this ain't it, Drake. But now when I heard it again and really got to like digest it, pause, like I was like, yeah, I like this one. I like the creativity. I like the line in the end. I thought it was very witty on his part. And like, I don't know, 616 in LA, like it didn't really stand out to me as much. But I think because that day that it dropped, it got overshadowed by what was next to come that like, it didn't really get the love maybe. But I felt like in this beef it was definitely Kendrick's like weaker one and he really didn't like go at him how I thought. Like I was in this song I like after Euphoria, like I was expecting him to really like go for the jugular like in him. And we just didn't get that in this one. So that's why I'm going with Taylor Made. Like and like with Taylor Made, it was just funny because like Drake was like basically baiting him into dropping. And like as we can see, I don't think he was prepared for what was gonna come next. But, at the time like Drake had already dropped 2 in a row. And like so that's why I give it to Drake. That's just me.
Well, I don't know, just kind of as a sad point, like he in that song he was just kind of like teasing Kendrick for, I guess, being a little bit more intentional with the drops, instead of dropping really quickly. Because Drake said that he made push-ups in like an hour or two, and he didn't get, even though it took him like what a couple weeks to respond to like that.
Mm-hmm. He
Um,
was on tour though.
yeah, I'll give that to him, and that's what I was saying at the time when people were like, "Why isn't Drake responding?" Like he's on tour, but honestly, overall in their career, I kind of feel like Drake dropping so much music is like almost to his detriment. I would have preferred him to like take another year with For All the Dogs and it to be shorter because I feel like it was like 60% filler. So he's teasing Kendrick for taking so long to drop, and I'm just kind of like, I low key wish Drake would drop less because like
Yeah.
it's a lot of quantity over quality sometimes it feels like, but he still has his hits and he's always gonna have like a summer anthem, but I just feel like he's projecting a little with that. But yeah, there were definitely like direct responses. Kendrick's 616 was definitely like a direct response to Taylor Made because Drake kept going drop drop and Kendrick was just kind of like, you sure? You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Keep it like friendly, right?
Nah, definitely not. I don't know, like for me, like, just not to get too sidetracked here, but like everybody hate on For All the Dogs. Like it's some like nah, I don't know, it's been songs that I've been replaying heavy, like Tried Our Best. Like that's like the song for me on there, And then Bahamas Promises, like
Yeah, love
members
is
members only.
but like think about it in comparison to like his other albums. For me, it's more like Scorpion, where like there are a lot of forgettable songs.
No, hell no, it's nothing like Scorpion. I ain't even gonna lie to you. It's better than Scorpion. I'm not gonna lie to you.
But like, song on Take Care, Nothing Was the Same. even if you're reading this too late, like, none of them were like super like weak links.
See, but that be my thing. Like, and I'm gonna just say this, and we're gonna go back to the beef. But like, that be my thing about like the whole Drake debate. Like, everybody be like, I want the old Drake, but people fail to realize like the people that rock with Drake the most is kind of like in our generation, so to speak. So like the people that we listen to like now, like 21, Yeet, like all these people, like all these people that he collab with is like what our generation like basically like come up on. And so like because like our generation was listening to Drake heavy, like remember like we was in high school, What a Time to Be Alive was like that album. Like that was like a great year in music. And it's like I feel like because like we like our generation is like Drake's main like crowd. I could be wrong, but I know like a lot of older people like they don't like, you know, the new Drake, but I feel like his music is tailor made for like our generation because like he gets the most love from us in a sense. That's just how I feel. Like but
No, but I stand with what I said though. Like for
I
all the
respect it. I don't know. It's still getting replay for me. But
whole even slime you out,
yeah.
and I love
SZA snapped on that junk. I ain't even gonna lie.
and I love Drake, and I still and I'm always gonna love Drake until maybe something comes out that I can't defend. But
Shoot, it might be too late for that. But to wrap up round 3, it's look like we split. We gonna go ahead and leave that at a deadlock. So Kendrick is still up 2-0. So Kendrick's still winning. All right, round 4. This one is like a heavyweight bout. I'm excited for. Drake dropped Family Matters and Kendrick dropped Meet the Grams. So in Family Matters, Drake says, "You the Black Messiah wifing up a mixed queen and hit vanilla cream to help out with your self-esteem. On some Bobby shit, I want to know what Whitney need. Your baby mama captions always screaming, save me. You did her dirty all her life. You trying to make peace. I heard that one of them little kids might be Dave Free. Don't make it Dave Freeze. Cause if your GM is your BM, secret BD." Now it's like Drake's attempt to throw out dirt. And then he also said Kendrick be rapping like he trying to get the slaves free. Which I ain't really like that one, but that's like a quotable. And then on the Kendrick side, on Meet the Grams, he starts off talking to Adonis. "Dear Adonis, I'm sorry that that man is your father. Let me be honest. It takes a man to be a man. Your dad is not responsive. I look at him and wish your grandpa would have wore a condom. I'm sorry that you gotta grow up and then stand behind him." And then talking to Sandra, "Your son's a sick man with sick thoughts. I think niggas like him should die. Him and Weinstein should get felt in a cell for the rest of their life. And we gotta raise our daughters knowing there's predators like him lurking for rap battle. He should die so all of these women can live with a purpose for rap battle. This a long life battle with yourself." You know, so he definitely, you know, definitely said some things up in there.
yeah,
So,
I think song wise, Family Matters was a better song. But you had to be there. If this is one of those like you had to be there like in that moment, like for Drake to drop his best song in the beef, in my opinion.
exactly. Same.
For drop his best song in the beef, where he's like, you hit your fiance, you cheat on her, you put her through hell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, aren't you guys like engaged? Isn't it almost the 10-year anniversary of your engagement? And then 20 minutes later, Kendrick drops where he's just it like kind of deflated like the whole thing, and like Drake put a music video together, like he made it like a big production, and just for Kendrick to like chop him down in 20 minutes.
I know. That's so crazy. I feel like I
And like
agree though.
theirs was the better song in my opinion. I'm gonna give that away, but the strategy of it, Kendrick did that.
Like, I don't know. It's tough because like I'm the same way. Like Family Matters was my favorite Drake song in the beef. Like Kendrick just opened his mouth. Someone come hand him a Grammy right now, which, like we were saying off the pod, that might be more of a compliment than a diss, but it was catchy. Like Drake was like he really like was rapping. It wasn't like push ups. Like it started off like that where it was kind of catchy, but then like he went into like them bars, like he was really like and then I like the shots that I mean it's not against Kendrick, but the shots that he was throwing at Rick Ross, I was like, yeah, this man. Or like when he was saying him and Pluto never been through it. Leland Wayne, he a flame, so I knew he had to be an influence. Like I was like, that boy Drake rapping his ass off. And then it was so crazy because then like I went back on Twitter, everybody like meet the Grams. I was shaking my head. I'm like, huh? Meet the Grams. And then I see Kendrick uploaded. I'm like, what is going on? Like he just dropped 616 earlier. Like what is going on? Like and like this is a tough one. Like this is a tough one. Like because like Meet the Grams. Like not only was it calculated, like it was calculated from all angles. Not only did he drop right after, but you got to think about it. Drake's thing is Family Matters. Kendrick's title is Meet the Grams. So talking about Drake's family. The whole premise of the song was like addressing Drake's family. So it was like it was just so like well calculated. So it's like it's a tough one though. It's a tough one.
I mean,
Ah,
the best diss. I mean, one that stood out to me when I first listened to it, and it had like the subtitles for it to read along with, was his diss to The Weeknd.
yeah.
Like drugged out little punk sissy from the north side.
Mm-hmm.
Serious.
That boy.
But like I know him and The Weeknd have like a weird. We're both from Canada. We're both like great artists. We both sometimes hate each other, but then we don't.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like relationships. So I know like he probably feels more personal in his beef with The Weeknd than he does with Kendrick.
Yeah.
Like that was definitely like one of the best like hardest disses. The Rakim shit was hilarious because Twitter was just kind of like, you just told this man he dresses too well and he's too handsome to rap back. And they'll have more kids with Rihanna. It's hilarious. But like I kind of wanted him to address the ASAP Rocky verse from "We Still Don't Trust You" because ASAP Rocky kind of walked right into that by saying like, "I hit your BM first," and it was just kind of like, I know you were there when when Drake and Rihanna were getting matching tattoos.
That bar was fire. He said, I forgot how he said it. I didn't note that one, but he
That's
was
where,
like, yeah, do the math. Like, yeah, he walked right into that one, like you said. I ain't gonna lie.
but like
It's like if I
what's crazy is ASAP Rocky. Like everyone's like nobody wants a response from him because he's not like as good as a rapper. It's like he could literally take that picture Drake trying to kiss Rihanna at that award show and she's like giving him the cheek instead. And
mm-hmm.
just have Rihanna on the bridge going BBL Drizzy, and it's gonna go number one because everybody wants Rihanna to make music. He doesn't even have to
Yeah.
buy a verse, and he could have just done that. Like, to take a walk with me because, like, I'm a real hater. We could have made something.
I mean, true. Bro said they got Fenty going on over there. They got kids being born. Like, bro should have just, I know, you know, I know,
Next,
like, they've been going back and forth. I'm still trying to make a decision. I'm gonna go with Family Matters because I feel like in the end it'll get more replay from me. I'm just basing it off that fact.
yeah,
But both songs were tough though.
yeah. I really haven't listened to Meet the Grams as much as I have Family Matters since that dropped. And so for me, the better song I already said it's Family Matters, but Kendrick did like a really good job of
Nah, he
like
did. He did.
taking that moment away from him.
He did. And
But
that
we
leads us. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
know Kendrick tried to out that 11-year-old daughter,
That is true. I
which
did forget.
as much proof of that as there is Kendrick Lamar beating on his fiance.
Yeah, I was gonna get into that in the next round as Drake kind of hinted at that a little bit. So right now it's Drake 1, Kendrick 2. The final round The Heart Part 6 versus Not Like Us. I mean, I don't even know if I don't even know if we gotta do a breakdown. I'm sorry, Drake,
And
I
that one.
love you, man. But we gonna get into it, you know. We're gonna start with the Heart Part 6. Good thing you said the whole thing about the 11-year-old daughter, because I got a quote about that in the Heart Part 6. We plotted for a week and then we fed you the information. A daughter that's 11 years old, I bet he takes it. We thought about giving a fake name or a destination, but you so thirsty, you not concerned with the investigation. And then he says, Mother I, Mother I. Wait a second. That's not one record where you say you got molested. Fuck me. I just made the whole connection. This about to get so depressing. This is trauma from your own confessions. This is when your father leave you alone, home alone with no protection, so neglected. That's why these pedophile raps is you so obsessed with. It's so obsessive. They acting like it's so aggressive. I really didn't like that one, but we'll get into that. What about the bones we dug up in that excavation? And why isn't Whitney denying all the allegations? Why is she following Dave Free and not Mr. Morrell? You haven't seen the kids in 6 months. The distance is wild. Dave bleeding heart emojis underneath pics of the child. Speaking of anything with a child, let's get to that now. The Epstein angle was the shit I expect. TikTok videos you collected and dissected. Instead of being on some direct, you rather can grab your pen and misdirection. And Whitney, you can hit me if you need a favor. And when I say hit you back, it's a lot safer. I promise. The Heart Part 6. Drake. Now, to the critically acclaimed. Not Like Us. Gonna start off with a banger, the obvious one. Trying to strike a chord, and it's probably A minor. They tell me Chubb's the one that get your hand-me-downs and party at that party playing with his nose now. And Baca got a weird case. Why is he around? Certified lover boy, certified pedophiles. What does OVO stand for? The other vaginal option? I like that one. Also, he calls out Drake, you not a colleague, you a colonizer. And then, of course, at the end, let me hear you say OVO.
OVO.
Then slide this way. Slide this way. Nah, most definitely.
Okay.
But
Alright, that song had so many quotes. Yeah, Not Like Us. It's like not even a fair battle. Like the Heart Part 6 about like him admitting defeat. That was, and I feel like that's what kind of like for a lot of people that kind of finalized that like Drake kind of lost the beat because Kendrick ended on a high note, and then
yeah,
Drake dropped what's kind of like I'm done with this. It wasn't like a mic drop moment. It was just kind of like a sliding down the wall kind of moment.
right.
And so to end like that, it just kind of felt like admitting defeat and being like, I don't want to do this anymore.
And
But
go ahead. Sorry.
no, as an Aubrey's angel, it's so funny. Like I didn't realize that so many people really wanted to hold on to the fact that Drake won. But like there are people out there who like really will go to like bat and be like Drake won, and and they'll try to like tap dance around the fact that like he's a colonizer wasn't a headshot. Like that was
That was the one.
because a lot of people like heard that and they're just kind of like he's just trying to take away blackness from light skinned people, and it's just kind of like no, he's from Canada. Like he came, like Gucci Mane went to jail and he started calling Toronto the Six.
Mm-hmm.
Like he started taking Atlanta lingo from Canada.
I mean, and then like everybody lingo, like he started linking up with WizKid. He started linking up with what's his name, Dave from
Yeah,
Central C.
call him a culture vulture because he sounded like Houston when he first came out, and then when Atlanta got popular, he was with Lil Baby, Young Thug, Future, kind of trying to ride that. Not to say he doesn't make great music on his own, but that's just something that always gets brought up when you kind of talk about his legacy.
Yeah,
And so
definitely.
somebody mentioned this where it was just kind of like Kendrick ending the beef, taking it back to the West Coast where he's from. We don't even know what Toronto rap would sound like for Drake to take it to.
True. That's facts. I didn't even think about that. That's crazy. No, that's
Yeah.
facts.
Listen, Twitter, come on, people were taking it back to AP literature for this. People were reading and dissecting.
I'm gonna give my take, but then I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Obviously, I gotta go with Not Like Us. The one thing that I felt like in this whole beef, Kendrick was missing, like we both said, like we agree Euphoria was like, in our opinion, his best song of the beef. But like he was missing like that banger, like that viral, like club, like, step two, banger. And I felt like Not Like Us was that. I felt like he gave us that with that track. And then I mean the proof is in the pudding. Like he already surpassed Drake on, like, the record of, like, streams, surpassing God's plan. So like I feel like that is that. But like, to play devil's advocate, like that quote I had about like how Drake was basically saying like you go to TikTok and everything to, like, choose your lines and everything. There's kind of like a little proof to that. I mean, at least that's what I saw on the internet. Somebody trying to sue Kendrick because he was like taking all like they old tweets and, quoting these people tweets. So it's like,
Yeah, I thought that was kind of suspicious too. And people were like, but they're old tweets. But it's also like when Kendrick announced Mr. Morale, he used an old tweet. So like, it's not like he doesn't see old tweets. He's probably not on Twitter anymore, but he was.
yeah.
But that kind of equals out when you look at the fact that Drake didn't write push-ups by himself. So it's just kind of like got different.
Plus, like, I got on Twitter the other day and like they just start showing me hella old tweets like from like years ago. So like I don't know if it happens to you, but like if you go to like your for you, like it just starts showing me tweets from like 2022 or something like that. So maybe he just saw it and he didn't think, like he thought it was like in the moment. But
I don't know. People say that there's no such thing as an original thought anymore, you know?
yeah,
But
I
I think he has bookmarks. Like I said, he's got a file on his phone about all the things he hates about Drake and like tea on him, just in case.
Yeah, I mean, as we can see, it's so crazy though because like Drake said the whole thing about how like they fed him that information. Do you think that's true, or do you think that was like a cover up?
I don't know because like because I feel like because he's like a Scorpio and he's super into like playing those kind of games when he's like beefing with people and stuff like that. I feel like he would have come up with like a better response or maybe like even a faster response.
Mm-hmm.
Really like true, or he would like leak a video the way that like Kendrick was like dropping pictures of like his personal belongings of like those conversations happening or like screenshots of the conversations of like Kendrick being like who has dirt on Drake or something like that. But like he didn't have any of that, which just kind of feels like because Twitter was saying that like Drake must have given Kendrick false information about a daughter before Drake even like mentioned it. So it just kind of felt like he also got that from Twitter, you know?
Yeah,
But it just felt like if he did do that, he like didn't go in for the kill like he should have. Like it was poorly planned. Like he didn't really have like a follow through for that, you know?
mm-hmm.
You know? Because if that was true, maybe like he would have had better bars about it or like some kind of tease or a joke, but he was just kind of like, haha, you'd fall for it, you know?
Yeah,
Nothing that great. And yeah, like I said, the Heart Part 6 just, it kind of sounded a little defeated.
definitely. It was just like he was just kind of trying to backtrack and
Like,
like,
I'm definitely not a pedophile, guys. I never
yeah,
no teenager, as if like we're just gonna forget about him and Georgia Smith. Like, that's where like he didn't even need a daughter. Like
about that.
people have been kind of shooting their about Drake being into younger girls for a long time, and like people in real life,
Yeah.
not like celebrities in the news. Like people in real life are just kind of like he's a little weird, and then Kendrick's like, oh, he's a lot more than weird. He's a 6'9" god.
I mean, it's a lot I can say that, but I ain't gonna add fuel to the fire. I'm gonna say it off camera about like, the examples I think. But to wrap up, Kendrick won this, man. Definitely 3-1, out battling Drake. You know, the real winner is hip hop. The real winner is like all fans of like both these guys. Kendrick finally dropped, you know, songs. Drake, you know, was rapping like we haven't heard in a little minute since like back to back. So you know, this was definitely a moment to remember. You had to be there.
Oh, we'd really win if we got a West Coast rap album from Kendrick and a strictly melodic rap album from Drake. Like that would seal the deal.
Man, we gonna win if all three or all four, him, Drake, J. Cole, Future, and Kendrick get on the song. That's what I want.
Oh
I know
yeah.
it'll never happen. Produced by Metro.
Oh my
But
god. The end credits, people talking about BBL jerseys, the end credits to it all. That was just really, that was like the funniest part. It's just
nah.
make some drums.
And that boy did. He did what he was told.
I know now
But
all these. That was actually maybe the smartest move in the whole beef. He's like, anybody who
definitely
gets a free beat.
he like that's why I said until like all the other stuff came out about Metro, like that like tactic of him releasing that beat and like him saying whoever got the best, like that was so smart because you knew like everybody was gonna come out in this. But I know you got to get to a party. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hold you up. Anything you want to shout out? You know, your Instagram. You know, anything special you want to say before we head on out of here?
Yeah, I mean, I guess my Instagrams, AmbarJas. I'm in New York City now, and I can't wait for this summer. Hopefully, we get some Drake tunes.
For sure. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, it's been your boy Ron the Don, his favorite white girl AmbarJas. We gonna catch you on the flip side. Maybe discuss more beefs. If you like this one, let us know. And we out.